Hey, Christy Mattoon here with Mind Rewire. I am taking messages from tons of people right now because I'm starting this new group. And so trying to help them understand and describe things. And people are just like giving me all kinds of feedback. So I want to give you a little bit more and kind of straighten a few things out. It'll give you a reason either to jump into this 6-week group that I'm creating this app from or not to. Right? Either way. And so when you understand a little bit more about how the technology of your system works and that we are in a different age and things are working a little bit differently than they used to, they just are, this might help you. So somebody just sent me this. It's an excerpt from a book of Dr. Dispenza's, which is just brilliant. It was a brilliant book in its age. This excerpt says, and what he said to me was, "Oh, I finally figured it out." She did. Here's what he read. "When we can activate the same level of mind to create the desired experience again and again, we are in the final stages of change. By doing, and doing again, we eventually get the body to become the mind, and the body can take over. That's training the system to do whatever it is you want it to do." It's a practice of habituation. Basically, right? It's exactly what he's talking about, is doing something repetitively over and over until it becomes your natural state. It becomes something that you can do quickly and easily. Depending on what it is you're doing or trying to do, my question is always the same thing. Is there an easier way to get there? And I say there is, right? So we practice things like habituation to get a change. We practice things like the law of attraction to manifest. There is part of the system that supersedes all of that. Those are secondary to the law of nature, right? They are just pieces of the whole. They are not the end all be all. And you have to understand this. You have to get into this place where things that we used to do that seemed to work because they were part of the law, worked because they were part of the law. If you can get to the higher state, a top tier, right, a higher tier of the law, these things are just second nature. They become second. They're not the go-to. The law of attraction is not the go-to. It's just part of the law of nature. Am I making sense? So, like the law of attraction, the practice of habituation, a lot of the tips and techniques and tricks that people use to do an effective change or affect a change in their own lives are secondary trainers. What would be a top tier trainer? Think about this for a second. What would be a top tier trainer? Getting into your heart space, being heart coherent, getting the whole system coherent will supersede habituation. Habituation is going to happen because it's part of the law. It's part of the nature of man. And you can affect the change by doing habituation, or you can come into one of these higher level tiers and habituation will just happen because now you're actually practicing the thing that you want to be. Am I making sense? So being coherent in your system will affect a practice of habituation because you want to do the things that make you feel good, right? Being coherent in your system will lead you to your spirit. Being in your spirit and not your guides. I'm not talking about your spirit guides. I'm talking about your spirit, your internal being, your internal, eternal being in you. The one. When you can contact that part of you, all of this other stuff happens by proxy. It has to, because that is the nature of your spirit. It's a manifesting machine. It lives in this plane of existence because of habituation. You don't habituate, and we do because that's what we were told we had to do. You have to do the habituation to get to the thing that you want to get to. If you're in your spirit and living through your spirit, you have a whole different avenue, a whole different vibration. And the vessel itself, right? And so what does he call it? The mind eventually to get the body, so the physical body has information. Every cell of your body has information, and you're trying to get it to become the new mind, which would be the new thing that you're seeking in your life, as far as your life purpose, your life goal, a way of being, not a thing in this physical existence, although it will do that too. Although it will do that too. You're trying to get your cells lined up with your spirit self. In that spirit sense of self, you can do greater things. Hey, that was good. How'd that sound? Thank you. All right. So we're trying to get to the internal, eternal being that is you. If you're only operating from the vessel and affecting the energy of the vessel to do what you want it to do by ways of habituation or law of attraction or any of these other things, those are secondary in the system. They're not primary. Am I making sense? Right? It has to become a way of life. It has to become a way of life. It's not a practice like you sit down and have to meditate for 2 hours. It has to become part of your system that just naturally happens. So my eyes are open, I'm wide awake, I'm walking around, and my heart's just blowing open in compassion. And not like sad compassion, like, oh, I can't believe this world is such a mess. It's like compassion that you're excited to be here because you can see the difference. All right? In gratitude, walking around with your eyes open, feeling gratitude, not just rattling off, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for. It's different. It's a different way of being. So it has to become a cadence, a consistency in your life that you're doing and doing and doing. And that doing is because you're in the spirit, and your spirit's going to do what's best for you, and that best thing for you will be everything that's next. Did that make sense? Okay? It's interesting to me how we were taught that this physical body is who we are. And it's not. It's not who you are. It's the vessel you're walking around in. And you got to clear all the clutter out of the subconscious mind, which is why I like a whole brain state idea, because it's so effective and easy to use. And you can do it anytime, anywhere, by yourself. It's so cool. Once the subconscious mind is devoid of all the clutter of the lifetime, it's super easy to get to the spirit, to line your heart up. And you can come at it from any angle you want to. It's just like everything else. How do you heal a physical issue? You take medicine, you see the doctor, and you figure out, well, that didn't work so well. You go on a diet, and diet meaning changing the way you eat so that you're eating to fuel the system, to heal the body, because that will send a signal, right? That what you're putting in the system will send a signal to the physical body. So you have to do that too. And it just changes things. You can come at it from that angle. You can go through a process of habituation, right? And hammer it and hammer it and hammer it and hammer it and never get there. If you come at it from your spiritual nature, it's going to be different, right? And the example I was going to use was, it's like spending your life meditating. Can you do that? Will it get you somewhere? Yeah, probably. And you're going to train yourself into that habitual state of meditation, sitting down on the floor, right, on your mat. This is what I wrote down. I'm actually reading some of this from a card. Sitting on a mat in full lotus, eyes closed, right, floating into the far reaches of the universe, whatever that turns into you. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's fantastic. Is it necessary? That's my question. Is it necessary? Can you create that state? And Joe Dispenza does this too, since we brought up Joe Dispenza in here. Walking around with your eyes open. Can you be in that state of mind? All the cells of your body giving you this crazy cool information about how amazing this plane of existence is and how wonderful you are. With your eyes open, walking around, engaging in whatever shows up in front of you. And according to this world, good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter, whatever shows up. Can you stay in that coherent state? That's what we're training into the system. That's what we're looking to do inside the physical body. And when you meet your spirit, come in contact with that part of you, that most inner part of you that did not come from this plane of existence, you will see the difference quickly. I guarantee it. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully. And to the person who sent me that, I thank you. I honor you. Thank you for digging and searching and reaching, because that is what we need to do. Keep reading. It's a wonderful, wonderful journey when you pick up all these crazy books that are out there. I don't know, I read them all the time. So if you want in this app, it's not the app yet, if you want in this first stage, it's 6 weeks. It's a 6-week challenge. It's going to take you from A to Z and do exactly what I just now talked about. If you are interested in doing that for yourself and learning how to effectuate your innermost being into producing a you that you can live with easily, happily, ever after, let me know. My email is christy@mindrewire.com. The thing itself, the 6 weeks, starts on January 1st. We've got a little bit of playtime. There will be a point where I cut it off, though, so I can really dig through information, because I've got a questionnaire that goes out to people when they join. So I'm really trying to formulate it and get it super honed in and specific to need. And we're going to get you there. All right? Blessings and peace. Thank you.